About 3 years ago, I was on a bus headed to visit my sister. She'd moved to a different city for work, and I hadn't seen her in months. It was one of those long overnight rides, so most of the people on the bus were sleeping. I had my headphones in, staring out the window, minding my own business. About halfway through the trip, I noticed this older woman sitting a few rows ahead. She kept glancing back at me, like she was trying to figure something out. At first, I thought I must have looked like someone she knew, or maybe she wanted to ask something. Eventually, she moved closer and sat in the seat across from me. She leaned in and said, "You're going to see Sarah." It threw me off because Sarah is my sister's name, but I figured maybe she overheard me on the phone or something. So I just nodded, thinking that would be the end of it. But she kept talking, and things got weird. She looked at me with this intense expression and said, "You need to tell her to let go. She's been holding onto it for too long." I was confused and asked what she meant, and she replied, "The pain. Tell her to stop blaming herself. It was never her fault." At this point, I was freaked out. My sister had been struggling with guilt ever since a friend of hers had died in an accident the year before. She'd never really opened up about it, but I knew it was something she was carrying around. There was no way this woman could have known that. So, a bit shaken, I asked, "How do you know this?" The woman just gave me this sad smile and said, "Tell her she's forgiven. He doesn't want her to suffer anymore." Then she got up, walked back to her original seat, and just closed her eyes. I couldn't sleep for the rest of the ride. When I got to my sister's place, I told her everything. She broke down crying, and for the first time, she told me everything she'd been feeling. She said she'd been having dreams about her friend, where he'd tell her that he was okay, but she never believed it until then. I looked for the woman when I got off the bus to thank her, but she wasn't there. I even asked the driver if he saw her, and he told me that no one else had moved seats during the ride. According to him, I'd been sitting alone the whole time. I still get chills thinking about it. I'll never know who that woman was or how she knew so much about my sister, but it helped her let go of something she'd been carrying for years. What do you think?